day. But for Wildcard, this is the first time that we've seen them because last time they played, they got their second dub, and they're currently the only undefeated team still left in the league.
Indeed. And well, Space Station are undefeated.
We're not counting that.
Technically,
we're not
they've not played a game yet. But
they have to play a game first.
Sure. No, Wildcard, indeed. They are 2-0 right now in the season, played 2 games yesterday. And coming into today, Wildcard and Mirage actually had the same number of wins in the NAL. The only difference being Mirage have been here the whole year, and obviously Wildcard started yesterday. That's changed now because Mirage did win their first game earlier today, so they're looking a little bit better. They're looking pretty good here, and I'm expecting a close game.
Certainly hope so. And for Mirage, there is somebody who we need to talk about who's been doing really, really good so far that I think is probably going to be a front runner for maybe not Rookie of the Year, but certainly Rookie of the Stage. He's already making an impression, and we have yet to really talk about him. Slothy deserves some sort of recognition so far because through his first 2 games, I like what I'm seeing from a dude who's been a bench player for Mirage through the past couple of months.
And this is exactly why he's not warming the bench anymore. He's on the stats. He's warming up that mouse. He's warming up that keyboard. He's warming up the comms, and we're seeing it here. And, it's always good to see a player coming off the bench like that and putting up numbers, performing where he needs to be performing, and especially surrounding himself with the veterans that he has. It just creates a lot of success for him in the long term.
Yeah, I think Slothy for me is like a very classic young gunner type guy coming into the league. Obviously, his mechanics are crazy. He hits some nutty shots. We've seen some fantastic plays from him already so far through the first couple of play days. I think there are times where maybe his awareness isn't quite there. We saw him beat the smoke grenade earlier today. There are moments where it's like, okay, clearly this guy is still pretty new, but that's a lot of room to grow. And I think it's all very fixable issues, right? He's surrounded himself with some fantastic players who have been around the scene forever, such as Rampy, Kansan as well. He's got a great coach in terms of Meepy. So Slothy's a guy that I'm very excited just to see where his career goes throughout the rest of the next few weeks.
Yeah, and if we keep seeing performances like that, we're only going to keep seeing him improve individually as a player, and ultimately that's going to help Mirage just keep pushing them even further. And we did give a lot of praise to Mirage with Meepy and the roster just being an entirely different, identity in general. So I'm excited to see where Slothy ends up at the end of the season.
The cool part about this is for everybody on Mirage, think about where all of those different players come from. You've got a hammer lifter, you've got Kansan, who's been to several lands already at this point in his career. You combine that with the complexity that Meepy is aware of behind the scenes, and then you throw a guy like Slothy into the mix, who might just be one of Meepy's diamonds in the rough.
I just want to say, you forgot about Vert.
I didn't mean to forget about Mert.
You can't forget about Vert.
I wasn't looking to leave them out. That wasn't the point. I was just highlighting a couple about where they've all been because they've been everywhere so far.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see all of those guys come together and whether they can win against Wildcard. I think at this point will be an achievement because Wildcard is 2-0. I actually didn't realize we have 2 Six Invitational winners in this game and not on the brands that either of us, I think, really, or any of us thought they'd be on because Merc really popped off over the last play day or 2.
Yeah, I think Merc has been the MVP for Wildcard in my mind. I think he's clearly shown why he needed to come back into the league and be on a team once again. His time on Space Station didn't really amount to a lot for the squad. They made the major, but it wasn't the greatest of showings. Now he's here, and he's really been having a fantastic time for Wildcard. I think we've been really hyping up Wildcard for their mid-round adaptations, their mid-round pushes, and Merc is a big reason why those have been going so well.
No, Merc has taken a lot of those entries, and again, we've said it before. Merc is not scared of gunfights. He will get in your face. He will put bullets in your body even when you're down. He's not scared to make a statement. So him getting those early rounds and allowing his team then to come in mid to late round to clean up what's left, I mean, what more can you ask for?
I feel like his expertise is going to be really pivotal for this Wildcard team going into the future. He's the guy with the most experience. He's been playing in the league, the OC days. Remember back to Organized Chaos, seriously.
Yes, sir.
You combine that with everything that guys like Adam and Pack are able to provide to this team, it feels like this squad could do a lot more, but they have to get through another doubleheader today. And half of their stage is about to be done over the course of just the next couple of hours.
Yeah, listen, on Twitter, after I correctly predicted LG would lose and the social media manager wasn't super happy about that, Wildcard asked me what's in store for us. I said 1-1 over their doubleheader for today. I think this match against Mirage is going to be close. I don't know if it goes their way or the other. I was impressed by Mirage earlier today, though, so I am inclined to say that this might be the first loss in the books for Wildcard.
I want to give Mirage the benefit of the doubt. They are coming off the hot seat. They are coming off a win. Wildcard has been sitting cold. Obviously, I would assume they're, playing, whatever deathmatch against each other or just deathmatch in general to stay warm. But I will say Mirage will probably put up a little more of a fight than what they've currently been getting. But still, on that same end, Wildcard has been showing that they are a force to be reckoned with.
They have.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the map Vito just to figure out where we're playing for both of these guys for Wildcard to keep their undefeated streak intact. What do we got?
I'm quite surprised by Border actually to come through. Obviously, we saw Border coming out from Wildcard yesterday. That was a dominant win over Beast Coast with some really strong attacks. And for Mirage on the other side, I mean, this historically has not been good for them. 2 losses in the NAL Stage 1, 2 more losses over the offseason to both OXG and Space Station. I'm a little bit surprised, even from that very first ban, Oregon going down. That was a map that we saw Wildcard banning out twice yesterday in both of their matches. And Mirage through Stage 1, it's a little bit old, but still Oregon was their best map. So this is a weird ban phase from Mirage, but I'm excited to see what Meepy's been cooking.
Yeah, you said it yourself. It is a weird spot to see them picking it. And with that being said, I mean, maybe Meepy did cook up something that they're super confident in picking this map, going against Wildcard. Obviously, Wildcard's pool, we don't really know too much yet. They still are a brand new team, so this will be new for us to really see is Wildcard consistent on the map going against Mirage.
Quick before we jump in, Jesse said this might be the first time Wildcard sustains a loss. Do you think Mirage takes this one?
I'm going to give it to Wildcard.
Okay. Again, I love it when it's a desk that's completely at odds, but in moments like this, when Mirage looks like they're as good as they are?
Wildcard has shown me, well, proven to me and shutting me up that they are a team that has made strides in early on. And, I mean, what else can you say about Wildcard that's in a negative sense so far?
Twice now he's doubting Slothy. I think twice you're going to be wrong, buddy.
I mean, it's more the fact that people are sleeping on Wildcard still. We can call Mirage a sleeper team all we want, and to be fair, you probably shouldn't because all those guys, with the exception of 1 or 2 rookies, have been playing this game for a long time. The exact same thing can be said about the overall longevity of Wildcard. It almost like if you took away the logos, the brand names from both of these squads and look at they have an SI winner, and they have a couple of rookies, and then you fill in that space with the accomplishments of everybody in between. These guys look practically dead even on paper to me.
Sure, and I think for Wildcard, I mean, we're coming back into a map that we just saw them on. They played on Border yesterday. We're coming back to this map. Whilst it was a good game, and they did beat Beast Coast with some dominant attacking rounds, I think that game was still a little bit sloppy. I think there were moments in that where it could have gone either way, and I think maybe a team better than Beast Coast wouldn't have been losing some of those rounds. So that's kind of where my hesitation comes in. Maybe I'm not sleeping on Wildcard, but yeah, maybe I am.
I don't entirely disagree with what you're saying, but when the sides did swap, then we did see a pretty clear one-sided affair with Wildcard just running away with it. So that being said, again, I am sticking with Wildcard.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into this bad boy. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time since mid-2018 as a casting duo, please welcome back Harry Demo Dempster and the return of Robert Flynn.
Thank you, boys. Much appreciated. And yes, jumping in here, border between my old team, Mirage, and the brand newcomers to the NAL, Wildcard. As you said, Jacob, it's been a long time, but welcome in, Demo. I'm excited to be having my return to the NAL cast with you specifically, considering you were one of the first partners I ever had on a LAN.
You were so fortunate, weren't you, Flynn, to have me? I say fortunate. Let's be honest, no one's fortunate if you get the cast of me. I forgot that you used to be the president of Mirage. I completely forgot about that.
I used to play for him too.
Yeah, forgot about that.
In the
President
olden days, the prehistoric days. Yeah, we don't talk about those days because they weren't very good.
Here we go. NA time. We have got a very interesting matchup, and I would say if you looked at this matchup, Rob, probably before any of the play days happened, you'd think this is a bit of it's Mirage Wildcard. This isn't going to be one of the hot fixtures, but actually watching both the teams, especially Wildcard, they look like really good outfits this time around for this stage.
Yeah, I think staying true to the name, Wildcard were complete unknowns coming into the stage. And just 2.5 weeks ago, their tryouts with about 10 to 12 different players were all being run on Super's Twitch stream. Yeah.
Incredible stuff. I mean, there is still a bit of experience there.
There is. There's a lot of NAL experience in there. There's a lot of CL experience in there. And this roster, honestly, in their 2 games yesterday, they have 2 games today. So in the first 2 play days of stage 2, they're going to be halfway done their stage. It's going to be interesting to see how they can turn it around considering their back half of the schedule for Wildcard. That's where it gets tough. That's where you get M80. That's where you get Dark Zero. That's where you get SSG, right? Like, this is going to be interesting to see if they can continue the momentum they had yesterday into today, and even if they can continue that on into next week.
The map that we're going to be looking at is Border, a map that Wildcard have already played so far in their adventure out in the NAL stage. And it went pretty well for them, a 7-4 victory against Beast Coast. Their attacks, particularly Rob, were very impressive, an 80% success rate on their attacks. And even more impressive was they were able to win 3 of those on the top floor of the Armory, which, as we know, is the most popular one.
Yeah, essentially, you've got Armory and Archives as your saving grace on Border on defense. Bathroom Tellers is right there as a close 2, and then after that, you're just trying to survive. Vent Work and Custom Supply, they're way lower in terms of win rate, especially this year in 2023. So for Wildcard to be able to be successful on those attacks specifically yesterday was very impressive.
5 seconds to
So we will kick things off with Wildcard in the defense. So before we start talking about them in the attack, let's see how they do in the defensive half first of all. What we kind of see now in the days of Border is those heavy extensions in towards Office, in towards CCTV room. You need to try and control at least 80%. Really, the only thing you can't really control is the east stairs side of that top floor, but everything else is really up for grabs. And even looking at Wildcard and their positionings, they're even maybe going to try and attempt to hold that east stairs side as well. There's a couple of players over there, and there's a run out. Rob, almost we see the first kill happen. Would have been a great one to get because that man Sloppy was on fire earlier in his game previously today.
I'm going to need you to keep going there, Demo. I have no video.
So Mirage, I think we're pretty essential in what they wanted to do earlier in their games today on Cafe. Was they knew exactly what they wanted to take and how they wanted to take it. They wanted to get in quick, they wanted to use their utility well. In goes the skeleton key from the Buck, but nothing really comes of that at the moment. More nades also coming in from below, but for the meantime, Mirage, they have lost Sloppy, who I mentioned is going to be that heavy hitter. He's going to be that entry. He's a young kid who really hit this scene with a lot of potential, and sure, a team like Mirage, where they have experience there, they have Rampy, you know, world champion, who was, as we know, the Mr. Entry back. Remember, he won his world championship.
Spirits again, regressing towards the break room door, able to juice himself back up to 100 and then some HP. Wary of a peek coming from the CCTV single window as well. Is going to pop the hatch and immediately drop down. 2 attackers from Mirage awaiting, but Merc will come in support as well. Trying to work his way back into the mini office. There goes Spirits lighting up Spiker down to about 5 HP. He'll hit the deck to try and save himself, but Merc will actually be the one to clean it up, and they'll both evacuate back up the stairs. Cans and will at least pick off Packer, so the Mirage attack is not without hope.
No, Wildcard, I mean, certainly keeping things an advantage of their own team, and there's Rampy, falls. So that is still a 3 versus 2. Wildcard, all they really have to do now, Rob, is just sit back and hold their angles, and Kansan gets eliminated. Atom swinging actually in through Office. And now Vertical, he was the player that's transferred over, of course, from Beast Coast, but is he going to be able to make a good clutch? Not even close, Rob. Gets shut down. He finds 1 kill, and realistically for Mirage, didn't really get a good attempt of actually attacking the bomb site. They really struggled with everywhere but the bomb site.
Yeah, it seemed like that customs entry for them got picked apart real easy. The drop from the dock and the assist from Merc on the Valkyrie. Seeing some rotations on the operators now, but honestly, for Mirage there, like you said, getting caught up in fights just to secure some map control, to be able to have a beachhead to push in towards the objective, and never really getting to that final step. If Vert's the last man alive and he's downstairs for you, then your attack has pretty much fallen apart.
Yeah. Still plenty more rounds to be played. Of course, for Mirage, only 1 round. And Wildcard opting to go for the Bathroom and Tellers. Now, this was a site that they did play in their previous Border matchup, and they won it once, they lost it once, so a 50-50 at the moment for them. A strong operator that we always have to mention on a map like Border, Rob, is Mira. so impactful, has those mirror windows. You really are looking to use that as just that. Let's put a mirror window here.
Left.
They're going to have to use the kitchen sink to clear us. That's what they're going to have to use, because
5 seconds to
the
go.
utility that you can stack up behind the mirror windows, accompany that with WAMI discs, it's going to be tricky. And even the mute jammer, you know, you just can't say, oh, let's just open it with an ace charger or Habana pellets. You're going to have to go the full mile.
Yeah, we've seen this quite a lot with attacks towards the top floor being the precedent to start things off on a bathroom teller's clear, simply because if you maintain that hatch control, your only opportunity would be to plant in tellers as the attacking team, so you're in a bad spot there with so many angles and soft walls being opened up. You need top control. The next progression for the defense is going to be to spread out horizontally, though. We'll see how Mirage deal with that kind of two-step attack, being able to clear out the top floor and then deal with the horizontal spread coming out from the rest of the defense.
Not a lot of burn for Mirage. Look at their lineups. 2 nades, 2 smokes, no flashes. You've got 9 breaching charges, for goodness sake. But perhaps they're relying on maybe the Bravicams to try and eliminate some of that utility that could be lurking around. But it's always tricky whenever you're up against mute jammers as well. You have to maneuver the Brava drones very carefully. But I do worry just with the lack of burn that they have, even having 2 sets of nades. And I mentioned before, they have the mirror window, they have the WAMI charges. This is going to be very difficult. Atom is in a perfect position, has that sandwich wall, can fall back a little bit deeper if he needs to, even towards the window. There goes an EMP grenade, there goes an ace, but it will get caught. They need more burn here, Rob. It's not going to work.
No, Adam persevering. Vert will at least trade one back down onto Merc into the hallway, but the death pile adding up now in the middle of the main hall outside of CCTV. You can see it's Surf this time, playing the fountain mirror, looking to aggress towards Vert in 90. Got shotguns coming out against the mirror window, but this mirror window still stands tall. Adam still has magnets, and there's no nades left on the side of Vert either. So the remaining 3 members for the attacking side of Mirage trying to progress their way down the hallway, but there's nothing to do here. Spirits will get one. A beautiful shot from Surf on the reaction. Leaves Vert alone in a 1v3 now, stuck in 90. He's got 2 mirror windows no matter where he goes. No diffuser control either. It's left and surrendered in the dead body in the middle of the hallway. And that's going to be a bailout now from Wildcard as Vert will do his very best, wandering back and forth, but ultimately this looks like a long shot of all long shots.
Once again, Vert in a similar position, downstairs in a 1 versus 3, and so much he has to go through. Legion mines, bodies, vaults in towards site. It does kill 1, but still 2 more to find, and 30 seconds to go. I think Wildcard will just let him have sight for the meantime. Doesn't even have diffuser, Rob. What can he really do?
Nothing, honestly. Hitting even more goo mines. There's a whole sea of them downstairs. Packer with the super shorty out just to add salt to the wound if he does be the one to finish it off. Spirits holding the SMG-11 Vert down to about 5 HP, pushing into Fountain. Still hasn't recovered the diffuser. It's in the hallway. Spirits will stand up to claim what was barely left of Vertical's life, but Wildcard, they survived the push upstairs. Almost all of Mirage end up dying in and around Fountain in 90.
Oh, another poor attack from Mirage. Didn't even get a chance to attack the bomb site. This offside hold from Wildcard, very impressive, but I just think the lineups for Mirage are just all wrong. It seems very basic. It seems very similar to what they were doing in Cafe earlier, where they just chose the same 5 operators. And sure, that's fine if you get into a good rhythm. You know, we've seen a lot of teams historically, you know, have a very successful time just picking the same operators. You look at the Russians, for example. Look at Virtus Pro, Rob. They always just chose the same operators, and they just kept winning rounds. But that's really an anomaly. That's really one of the one teams that you can really think about that had that playstyle, and it worked. And if we're comparing, you know, Virtus Pro to Mirage, that's a big accusation to make. So I just think Mirage need to mix it up. I think they need to have more burn into their utility, because they won't win if they just bring the same old monotonous thing. You know, it's like you're just ordering chicken nuggets everywhere you go. All you're ordering is chicken nuggets, Rob. That's it.
What's wrong with chicken nuggets?
I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying it's very basic.
Yeah, I will say on Cafe, Mirage actually were getting to the bomb site and getting a few plants down. Now, their post plants left something to be desired, but at the end of the day, I was impressed with their ability to ingress towards the bomb site and get a plant down.
They're quick, yeah.
This map is an entirely different story. We are dying on the first progression.
100%. Yeah.
We're not getting to step 2 on the checklist here for Mirage. So still very early on, only 2 rounds in, but Border, typically a map that'll lend to more towards a 3-3 half between even teams.
Yeah.
This is already starting out wonderfully for Wildcard. They're looking great. It's Mirage right now that need to take the next step.
Well, they have to go for the third bomb site choice, which will be their ventilation room and tellers. Wildcard, they did win it yesterday, the one time that they played it. So pretty successful for them on that front. Let's see that Mirage have actually done their homework and have studied Wildcard and seen what they had done in their border game, and hopefully can have a bit of a counterplay to it. It'll be curious to see what the main change up Mirage are going to go for. I mentioned before they need more burn. They've done that. They brought in some flashbangs. They've got 4 nades now, which will give them a little bit more kick whenever they will aggress onto those roamers upstairs, which is always going to happen. This bomb site in general, it's all about defending that top floor if you're the defense. With all the verticality you have and works and ventilations, there's nowhere safe that you can actually sit in the bomb site. So you have to try and hold above as best you can and deny Mirage that access to that top floor.
Frag grenades are pouring in. Spirits losing about 40 health. Ibonex Kairos detonating as well, and Spirits will have to survive the onslaught. He'll pick up one on the cans, and a second one now onto Rampy. Nearly collects the third onto Slothy, but he will survive. Evacuates back into half wall. Surf now dealing with the push in from the Hibana of Spiker, but it'll be Packer who's retreated up metal stairs to join his friend. The quick peek around the corner nearly catches him as well. The Ana turning, but Surf! It's Valverde alone again, and Mark will shut him down. Mirage again trying to walk into the top floor, the floor opposite the objective, and they are getting cut down.
Call a timeout. You need to call a timeout if you're Mirage, because that's a tilt around. You have just tried to speed run the round. You are head loss. You are like a deer in the flashlights. You have no idea what's going on. For the third time in a row, it's just Vert by himself. Oh, Mirage.
I mean, you look at the scoreboard and it's kind of Vert by himself right now too. And I mean, earlier today on Cafe, it was much more of a team performance. Slothy was obviously leading the charge in the fragging department, but it was much more balanced. This so far, and again, it's opening engagements, right? I think Mirage have started every single round down 5v3 at one point. This is a point where you just want some kind of successful momentum early on. And let's hope that this timeout is going to garner that for Mirage, because right now this is looking like an attack. Like I said, it cannot even get to the second progression. They're still trying to clear out the floor opposite of the bomb site, and they aren't getting successful there, leading to any attempt on attack to the bomb site being hopeless.
On a map like Border, where it is pretty chaotic, I think, for defenders, because there's a lot of ways that you can trap defenders and make them feel very claustrophobic. You know, it's almost like, the walls start moving in around you. There's nowhere safe to sit. There's been very little pressure for Mirage. I don't think that they've been spreading themselves out enough. I think it's all been very just one way. On a map like Border, you need to have a lot of angles covered. I think they're missing out on a player sitting outside of the vents window. I think that's a big one if you want to try and control top floor. It cuts that rotation towards Armory into Fountain, for example. I also think that you need just a steady player in East. If you look at the best teams who play Border whenever they attack, it's always East. East is the first place to go, mostly because it's the easiest. You can't hold East stairs, it's too difficult. You have those 2 doorways on either side, you have the staircase, you have that skylight as well that you can utilize. East stairs is where, if you're Mirage, you just want to control first. You get in East and you work from there.
Well, we got a big rotation on operators now. Spiker pulling out the buck instead of Hibana to provide the burn, and Rampy on the Grim as well. So hopefully trying to garner some intel on where these wildcard defenders are. Hopefully that can lead to a successful opening engagement. Because like I said, it's off rip. It's the first 30 seconds to a minute in the round where Mirage are losing those engagements, losing those opening battles, and it's just setting them up for disaster throughout the rest of the round.
Yeah, Grim's an operator that we've seen quite a few times actually come into the meta now, with that little change that he's got where his canisters can bounce and ricochet off walls. Massive change. It just makes them so much more viable. You don't just have to swing into the open to use the gadget. You can now bounce it safely. Similar to what Tachanka can do, of course, but Tachanka's a bit you know, stinky for the most part, just because this kit's it's too clunky, Rob. I'm always been a hater to Shaika, always will be. It gives them more versatility and can really assist the team now. It is like an active drone going in, but has a lot more strongers, you know, because you get that constant ping where it's as if you do have wall hacks.
And Spirit's the one-man wrecking crew, solo holding CCTV against 3 attackers from Mirage. He's shooting Selmas off his 90 wall for himself. A constant rotation, avoiding frag grenades. Now finally will get cut down on the entry from Slothy, but an immediate trade back out there from Surf peeking from the objective. So you've lost 2 nades from Vert throwing them, and you've lost 2 nades from Slothy entering into CC. There go all 4 of your opportunities to use frag grenades to try and give yourself an even man count. Surf and Rampy will have a bit of an ego contest at the break room door, and they'll both walk away about even.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot better for Mirage. Being able to actually take control of a portion of the map is great. Only losing 1 player. It's a good trade. I mean, Doc's a difficult one to get rid of in that position. Has the stims. But yeah, like you mentioned, having the lack of a grenade, you think about positions like half wall now, for example, in towards Armory. That's going to be a tricky position that they need to try and clear, and they can't really do that without the nades. The only option I can see from them going for is maybe get the buck downstairs to then buck underneath half wall, but doesn't look as if anyone's actually playing there. Rampy's just gonna meander into small box, and now Mirage in a great position.
Danzen going for the plant on the armory wall with the breach directly behind him. Surf still worried about AC, removes the player from there. There goes Spiker to level up man count. She'll have Vert on about 5 HP playing in behind the half wall. Merc will try and retreat up metal stairs, and Adam will join him, impacting out of the fountain wall. Merc trying to push his way in, and Vert really being the last line of defense here inside the bomb site for the attack in the post plan. They've got no idea that he's there. The perfect trigger discipline here from Vertical, toying with his food, waiting for him to peek out the window, finally will decapitate him. Surf loses his life. The refrag there, but that is Mirage cleaning it up in the post plan that looks much better than anything we've seen thus far from them.
I'm quite sad Vert didn't get more than 1 kill there. I thought
Honestly,
he was gonna
a 5 HP, take whatever you can get.
That's true, but I would have loved to have seen a good highlight. You know, patience is key. You know what the social media managers are like, and they'll do like a patience and then a little key emoji because they think, oh, look at us, we're trendy, we're hipster. No, you're not, none of that. Yeah, a lot better for Mirage. You can see the change with just a little bit more utility, more nades. We've seen the Doc's perspective. That's what I'm talking about. You're crushing him in. You're making him feel unsafe. There is nowhere that Doc could have went. That's the level that Mirage need to play to, is keep the defenders under pressure on a map like Border, where it's so small, very, very small map compared to the other maps in the pool. It's all about the overlaps. It's all about having those crossfires.
Well, now for Wildcard, that's their first loss of the game so far, and honestly, it got close there, honestly. If you're having someone play a little further out off the bomb chassis and being able to stop that immediate walk-in from Rampy and Vert, that's a very different story. That was very much a Hail Mary from Mirage.
Even a proxy alarm? That
yeah, just something.
An option, yeah.
Yeah, so back to bathroom tellers, Wildcard will go. Just going to change things up. And for Wildcard, it's about getting back on the board here, being back up 4-1 now, and moving back into the win column. Honestly, the momentum still feels very much on the side of Wildcard. That post plant there was well executed from Mirage, but like I said, a bit of a chance play to get the plant down in the first place. So we'll see if Mirage can replicate that, or if Wildcard can keep their foot on the gas pedal.
So we head over to the bathroom tellers. This was the attack where Mirage just, they didn't have enough utility to clear out mirror windows. They do have a lot better utility now, but I don't even know if they want to use that. They're playing fast, they're playing aggressive. Slothy's trying to get stuck in, but it's not going to work for him. Spirits is holding down the fort, misses the C4, and also gets taken out. What on earth has happened there, Rog? A massive, massive blunder from Wildcard, has to be said.
And it was a 5v5, and now it's technically a 3v2. They might be able to revive Slothy inside of Armory up against the breach there. Surf now will launch out a Nitro towards Fountain, anticipating the approach from the Mirage attacker, but no. Surf and Merc will both say, screw this, we are bailing out of the top floor. They are able to successfully revive Slothy as well, so we're back to a 4v2. Slothy low on HP, but now it's Merc and Surf to try and survive this, and that's a much better entry, like you said, for Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, Spirits missing that C4 is detrimental if you actually look at the scale of things. Could have got 2 for the price of 1. So Mirage, the entries worked really well for them. you know, I had the idea where, oh, look, they're bringing more utility, more flashes, get rid of the whammies, get the nades in, clear the mirror windows. No, we're just going to rush them. We're just going to take the gunfights. Such a risky way to play Siege, because that could have easily backfired, as we've seen with Spirits. Could have easily have turned up a very sad day for them. But no, it's paid off, and this is where they can just slow the pace down to how they want to play their Siege. They're opening up everything that they can. Start clearing out these players as they're still tucked into positions like Bathroom, for example. And, well, speaking of Bathroom, it's now clear, and Surf in a 1 versus 4. I don't think he's going to have much success. No C4 cannot stop the plant. And it's only going to be a matter of time before somebody picks him up. He's going to try his best to try and fight over towards East Stairs, and we'll find 1 kill, but 3 more to find. 35 seconds to do so. It's going to be a difficult one for him. Surf trying his best through the drone hole, gets nothing from it, but as soon as he steps foot in towards blue, that vertical is just going to open up for him. And I'm surprised nobody's jumped onto the occasion to kill him from above, but Kansan will reap his rewards anyway inside of Bathroom. Much better for Mirage, 2 in a row. Has the momentum stopped now, Rob?
Sure looks like it. And honestly, for Mirage, like you said, the entry, it's just the ability to get to stage 2 of your plan, honestly. Being able to clear out the top floor and work your way down to the bomb site. The man advantage is nice to have there as well, but even if they're in a 3v3 there, I still think being able to have that top floor control and push any anchors and dislodge them off of the objective, they still would have been in a good spot. So well done from Mirage on the entry this time around. Like you said, that Nitro cell, though, millimeters away from having a very different conversation here.
That was the decisive factor. You know, every round has a point where that's where they lost the round. That was it. For Wildcard, it was just missing that C4. But once again, similar to what happened to them on that Armory defense, somebody just walked through a doorway and they were none the wiser. Couple of issues there, and it looks as if they're going to respond, Rob, as the Fenrir comes into the mix. Great operator for giving you that signal of, hey, someone's on this doorway, and also just deters those attackers away from pushing those doorways. I think we've all been there playing Fenrir. As soon as you get hit with that gas, you're panic mode. You don't know, oh, do I go back? Do I push through? Where is it? What do I do? That moment of madness that really inflicts you.
Yeah, those F-Naught mines are going to be very difficult to be able to push on through, so I think that's a very good response here from Wildcard in tandem with the Valkyrie. They have run it on and off again throughout this map so far, but you really want to be walking into the second half up 4-2. Like I said, portable trend towards a 3-3 with some even teams, but Wildcard, I think they're trying to prove that they aren't an even team with Mirage, that they may actually be a little clear of them. Through the first 3 rounds, it's sure seemed that way. And now Mirage, a good response thus far. Beginning up the pace, much better entries. Spirits taking some more damage inside of CC again. But this one-man army is going to be the first hurdle for Mirage to climb over.
All about clearing out that dock. That dock in Brazil is always an issue. Sloffy opens up with the opening kill. 3 and 5, slowly making his climb up the leaderboards. Spirits has that 1.5x to challenge these long angles. That's why Doc is a great operator, because there's not too many of them defense who have those longer range sights. And as expertly demonstrated, whenever you take a bit of damage from those long range fights, you can just steam yourself back up and you're good to go again. Great shot there from Adam on the Sloffy. Sloffy, he's done well to get opening kill, but once again, just gets traded back immediately. The trade game for Wildcard, I think, has been very, very impressive. And Adam, get him on a leash, Rob. He's a bit feisty here tonight.
Yeah, you put an MPX in that guy's hands and the whole server's going to end up on the floor. Beautiful work there from Adam to be able to bring a man disadvantage to a man advantage now. And honestly, this looks like it could continue. Vert down below trying to hunt out Adam, who has dropped off of his hold inside of office, and it seems like every Mirage member is spread out. There's about a country mile between each and every one of them. Spiker outside of the office window, Kansan working his way down East Stairs, and now Vert will die downstairs trying to cook a nade from inside a workshop. So all of Mirage, their initial entry into top East failed. Spiker, though, will at least trade out Surf, so they're bringing it back slowly but surely.
Reaching with some.
An ace and an ash. 2 ways. See if they can pull out a round win and make it an even split, but it is going to be up against them. Still those smoke canisters that they need to try and burn through. That's going to be a big issue. And with 30 seconds on the clock, it's
reloading ammo.
Doesn't leave them a lot of time to maneuver around. They really have to commit to 1 push now. It looks as if it will be in towards
Let's activate
that office. will try and open up those walls and try and push Adam out of his position. But honestly, with a Selma charge, he can still play pretty safely in that position. But both of them rotate now in towards Archives. But there goes the gas. They know exactly where they are. They're not going to be able to see them all too well. And it's going to be an easy cleanup for Wildcard as expected.
5 seconds to go.
Took a little second there, and Packer did actually get down and finished off by Kansan, but there goes
I thought I
Spears.
timed that. Never mind.
I thought you did too. I thought you had it all right, and then boy,
Nobody swung. Nobody swung.
Kansan refused to go down, man. He refused to drop. He would not go silently into that good night, but it will be Wildcard heading into the attacking side now, up 4-2. Mirage again on that round, like you said. I'm not quite sure if it was skipping a step there from Mirage, but those entries in through East, they just let Adam run roughshot on them, and no real drones or intel that was the case, that Adam was ready and waiting with an MPX staring down the top of East. So for Mirage there, an unfortunate end to their rally in the middle of the first half, and now we head to the second half with Mirage on the defense looking to claw this thing back, level out the round count, and try and push this thing into overtime like we saw earlier today from them.
That rotation that teams now have, where you have that triple wall off as you open up the left side, you have that crouch hole in, and then you can swing East. It's honestly, like, that position, the way that you counter that, Rob, is you open up the other door. That's it.
What a concept.
You have East, you open up both sides, and he can't swing both of them. That's as easy as it is. You know, that's what I mentioned about Mirage. They didn't spread out enough. They missed moments like that where they need to try and hit these defenders on every single front. That's what has been the main kicker for me with Mirage. They didn't play Border the correct way. Border's all about those pinches, and yeah, that's where they've really let themselves down today.
Well, we'll see if their defense can make up for their offense here. Starting downstairs in Bathroom and Tellers, not looking to go up top to start either. So this is, again, a lot of stakes on this round. You do not want to be going down 5-2 on the map. So this has got to be their comfort pick. This has got to be their most successful defensive site, one they feel that has the best opportunity to put them in front and get close here. Slothy will be shooting off the Ace Selmas inside, trying to do his best Spirits impression inside of CCTV, but he's got help from Rampy now as well.
Activating Selma sequence.
Lineups for Wildcard. Not a lot of nades, not a lot of burns, so again, have that issue with clearing out players in that Brazil. May be a little bit tricky. I mean, there's not a whole lot of actual utility denial, actually none at all from Mirage. They have went more of the trap operator route, which we see a lot more now with Legion obviously getting his changes where those guru mines are very potent. And also a form which has been a good pickup, mostly for, I think, the gun, the 1.5x, and that UZGK, is that how you pronounce it? Or is it UZK? Whatever it is, very, very strong.
The gun that got a 1.5.
There you go.
Go with that.
There you go.
Seems like Merc stepping on a goo mine inside of CCTV, wary of any nitro cells, but Spiker will be the first one downed and finished off now by Spirits. Makes his entry swiftly and efficiently into Bathroom. There goes Bird as well. Slothy trying to trade back, and he will lose the gunfight. Another swing coming out towards Bathroom from inside of Ventilation, and Kansan's left alone upstairs. He has to bail out. Spirits collapse Rampy for 3 on the round now, and it's all Kansan alone in a 1v5, trying to retreat away from the bomb site. Will at least decapitate Merc, holding his flank up metal from inside CC. Here's another goo mine, lasing through the wall with bullets, trying to grab the IQ of Surf, pulls out the CZ-75 in response, just desperately swinging for all he can, but he's got about 20 seconds to get back downstairs towards the diffuser. And there are yellow pings coming out now onto Surf inside of Armory. A beautiful shot there from Kansan, but it's all for naught. It's impactless at the end of the day. Keep baiting, says Surf, and Wildcard take the 5-2 lead.
Wow. That was great opportunity spotting from Wildcard. Seeing that nobody was on the hatch, that's a big no-no. Big no-no. If you are Mirage right there, you play upstairs inside of offices because you have the hatch. And if you have the hatch, that window into sight is null and void. Nobody can jump in that because you will just die. My suspicion is that they probably just wanted to use the goo mines and the foreign gadgets to give them that sound cue. So they didn't have to actively hold it. They would just use the, the traps as their way of, hey, someone's in here. The issue is, I'm pretty sure Twitch took them out.
Yeah, that was a very quick jump in from Spirits and immediate results garnered. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he sent both Twitch drones in, cleared everything out, and said, guys, site is wide open, wide open.
Just Mirage, I think going to a map like Border, it's a tricky one. I think it's one of those maps where you either have it or you don't. It's not like an Oregon, it's not like a Clubhouse where really on anyone's given day, you can go and have a good run. Border's a very unforgiving map. Very unforgiving. If you haven't studied this, if you don't have the right mindset where you do almost have to be very aggressive, you have to not be afraid to take challenges, that's where you're at. I think in Mirage's game on Cafe against Luminos, I think there was moments where they were very timid. I think there was moments where they didn't really want to push, but they had to. On a map like Border, you cannot be indecisive. You just have to do it.
Here comes Wildcard now to try and put us on map point, opening up radio window and Packer, carrying the diffuser. We saw this yesterday from Wildcard, the immediate archives push with the Montaigne plant. They did it to win the map yesterday. We'll see if they can put themselves on match point with it here today.
It should just be a quick walk in and get that Monty in a position where he can just plant with the shield in his back. Is there any C4s? There's two of them lined up. Nobody below, though. Where's the C4s? There they are. Packer will tank one, but then there's the follow-up. It hasn't worked. There's the backstab, though, for Merc. Trying to move in, but no. Kansan's ready for an attempted quick plant. It's failed for them. A risky play, as we know. Rushes are hit or miss sometimes, so pretty easy for Mirage to capitalize on that. Wildcard, just looking at their setup, I think they need more cover. You need something to try and, you know, just try and hide your Monty. Even Monty maybe getting some smokes, tossing them in deep, maybe planting in an off-site position to plant rather than just on the door, which is pretty default. There's a few things there that you can definitely work on.
Yeah, he got hit from a lot of damage below, so I imagine as well that Mirage were nearly expecting it. They seem to react to it very swiftly, in stark contrast to a couple of rounds previous where they haven't reacted to a lot of the actions that Wildcard have taken immediately. It seems like maybe they were anticipating that, seeing the VOD from yesterday. But nonetheless, it's still a 2-round advantage here, so your Wildcard, you swing for the fences, you take your shot, doesn't work, you're all good. You still got some rounds here, you have a cushion, and now it's Vent Workshop coming out from Mirage. Again, those tertiary bomb sites on Border, you really are just trying to survive.
Vent Workshop is the bomb site that Wildcard actually didn't win on their attacks in their previous matchup. So this is the one that got away. Let's see if they can get it this time around.
5 seconds left.
Mirage are playing, again, very heavily into those traps. Look at this. 3 of them this time around, Rob.
Use a bomb.
It's got a blitz coming out from Spirit, so this might be, again, swift entry into a minefield with Legion Mines and Razor Blooms and Surya Gates and Bear Mats. Oh boy, this is shaping up to be a chaotic, fireworks-filled entry into Vent.
Of course. You know, Blitz is just that guy who you want for rushes. Blitz, very, very strong operator. In my opinion, the best 1v1 operator in the game. You know, if you find a single roamer by themselves, they are dead. That's just how good Blitz is. You have that shield, you can run full force, you have the flashes. Pistol's pretty good as well. People forget the pistol, you know, it kills you pretty quickly as well. You know, 5 shots to the chest, you are dead, and it has a good fire rate. So certainly there's options there, I think, for them to try and segregate them. Like right now, if I see a guy in Brazil and he's by himself, I'm straight for that window. I'm pushing in.
Yeah, Spirit's hesitating a little bit here. He sees the kill holes underneath his window, so he's going to hold off momentarily. He sees the Surya Gate slowing him down as well. Will use a smoke grenade to burn it, an entry into CC. The Mirage Defender has already vacated the premises. There's a rotate into Fountain. I'm sure Spirits gives too much of care towards that at the moment. As Adam will be pushing in from the top of East, they'll try and pinch out on the top floor here. This is a really good collapse from Wildcard. They just need to hurry up on the pace here. As we hit the midway point in the round, we barely had any Wildcard come into the map. There goes Adam and Merc dropping Spiker and Sloppy. So a really good start on the entry on both sides. Collapsing onto the frost inside of Vinny. Rampy has no chance. Absolutely decimates him, dropping down into the bomb site. Vert will get one. The second knife, and actually the CZ75 from Kansan at least pick up one, but both defenders in the hallway. Kansan on another one on the Packer. Down to 5 HP, and he has to immediately bail out. So both defenders off the site. Merc on site with the case, and now holding the hallway. Adam nearly gets picked picked off, hits the goo mine, has to pull it back out. It's a seesaw back and forth with the control of the hallway and into the objective.
Oh, that was very tense. Kansan has gave Mirage a lifeline with those kills.
Attackers have dropped
Merc and
the bomb
Adam both
diffuser.
in the bomb
Attackers
site,
recovered
but the
bomb
issue is with
diffuser.
both of them being downstairs, there's no one upstairs to hold him, so there is going to be a retake from Vertical. He has the hatches to play with. He will make himself another hole with the C4, but Kansan has found Merc as he tried to push out and hunt for that kill. And a round that looked as if it was going to be Wildcard all day of the week has now turned into a very tricky position for Adam. Has 30 seconds, can try and go for the plant, but comes off it. And now looking up the Vertical, more Vertical being made by Vertical, unironically.
15 seconds left.
But he just doesn't know where Kansan is, that's the issue. He has no idea.
10 seconds to go.
There goes the attempted plant, but the shots come out from Vert. Everyone's on 1 HP in the entire server now, and Kansan will close things out with, I believe, 4 on the round. Mirage, honestly, they're able to persevere on Vent Workshop. They surrendered the site, but not the round. Now, this is the same thing we saw in the first half with Mirage, picking up a couple rounds, picking up some steam. Wildcard going to end up folding.
Wildcard really thrown that one around. I think that the collapse was great upstairs. They had East control. They cleared out Brazil with the Blitz. Blitz then moves into Armory, gets an absolute freebie onto the Frost. But the moment that was the real kicker was Blitz overextended. He dropped the hatch. Instead of waiting for his team to say, we need you to push this doorway. We know there's a guy here. Go for your kill. He drops the hatch on top of a guy. Keep that in mind. He basically drops onto Kansan's head. Kansan just stabs him. If the player's not flashing, you get too close, you're just going to get knifed. You're going to get killed. That's the downside of Blitz. Because whenever you're in that animation where you have been stabbed, you are useless. You can't do anything. You know, it's like a tortoise with a handbrake. You're going to be doing absolutely nothing.
Well,
5 seconds to
now
go.
it's Mirage's turn to try and level things out. It was a 5-2 advantage for
Attackers are heading
Wildcard
out to
just a
defuse
few
a bomb.
moments ago, but here we stand at a 5-4 scoreline. Bathroom Teller's defense for Mirage now. Trying to level this thing out, get back into the game, much like they did on Cafe earlier today with back and forth contests that eventually went to overtime and saw them persevere. I imagine now they want to go all the way through to a 7-5 here. They want to keep running up the scoreline from 2 to 7, get all 3 points available on the board, no more overtime games. That would require quite a massive collapse from Wildcard, the likes of which we just haven't seen from this new roster as of yet.
Oh, that's not a good one to lose. Sloppy immediately taken out. That dock in that position inside security gone is, yeah, never a good one to lose early on, especially whenever, I mean, Wildcard didn't use any utility for that. They've got that for absolutely nothing. Kansan don't. Oh, this is so risky from Kansan. Goes to the jump out, but now they know where he is. They do let him cross back inside, but oh, for a minute there, Rob, I was thinking surely not.
Kansan got away with it there. Maybe needs a little bit of a heat check there as he is feeling himself with 13 frags on the game so far. Nitrocell being pulled, but Merc is ready and waiting. The drone will spot him out. The Valkyrie below a vertical gets picked apart by Merc, holding for the rotation, coming up metal, but a good pre-fire there from Rampy. Will dispatch of Merc. They're trying to get back down, caught on one another on metal stairs. But the retreat now from Mirage back downstairs still leaves them in a 3v4, and they've surrendered the top floor midway through the round. Wildcard on a very good start here. Try and put us again on map point.
All quiet as Wildcard will start to make their approach in
Attackers have recovered their
towards
diffuser.
that top floor. Have to look at Kansan. He's been the standout player, Rob. 13 and 5 has really carried his team throughout these rounds. We've seen what he did last round, and Vicious out Thorn, strong operator. Bit of a, I mean, you could go into the crutch territory. I think that's certainly one that you could dabble in, but he's doing well at the moment. But with a minute to go, more than enough time for Wildcard to look at doing some vertical. They will have issues with the hatch though, because it has been electrified from below. But I think Wildcard, all they have to do is get the drone work in, find out where the remaining players are, and just pick them apart. You know, you look at the actual positionings of Mirage. Nobody stacked up together. They're all individually by themselves in their own separate rooms.
Spirits and Spiker trade with each other, so that leaves us now to a 2v3 for Mirage to try and survive. 20 seconds on the clock, and this has taken a minute here for Wildcard to be able to finally collapse into the site execute. Rampy alone inside of Customs, Kansan alone inside of Workshop. There goes Adam and Rampy now. Another direct trade, and Packer will clean up onto Kansan. Wildcard not even opting to go for the bomb site. Merc with some question marks in the chat as he had no idea the collapse was coming, and now we stand at match point. Kansan, oh no.
You would almost think that the bomb site was ventilation room and workshop just with how that collapse went in.
Yeah.
Thought we were Customs. Merc's not happy with that one. Always fun.
A little bit of banter going back and forth between the teams. Well, unfortunately for Mirage, that does mean the availability of 3 points is now off the table yet again. There's still an opportunity to claim 2 points and even 1 point. Wildcard has secured themselves a point no matter what. They have the 6th round. They've guaranteed overtime. They can get all 3 here in regulation with a 7-4 or 7-5 win, and now Mirage are just playing to level things up 6-6 and try and get into OT, salvage as many points as possible now that you've lost the opportunity for 3.
Yeah, of course, this is the chance for Wildcard to go top the league. They are a team that is undefeated as it stands. Also, there's a few other teams, but they have played more matches at the moment, such as, M80's there. They haven't been beaten and such as well. So yeah, there is certainly potential here for Wildcard to take a very healthy lead in the kind of first half of this split. Let's see how Wildcard will want to achieve a round win here as they're on that attack for the top floor this time. Brava and the Twitch, the double drones, now are going to be used to clear away a lot of the utility that Mirage will want. Look at the fly free as we look at that setup, the mirror windows. One player still inside security for that extra measure. I think right now, if you're Mirage, you are just looking to play a little bit more, I think, compact. I think the refrag game could certainly be stronger. If they just double up and just say, right, I'll play here, you play there. If I die, you'll get the trade. That should be how they're setting things up right now on board. That's just the way you need to play it.
Good observation there for Mirage as well, spotting out one of the Twitch drones on the side of Spirits. He's got the second one deployed out there as well. Attempting to hack some default cameras now will be Adam. So the Brava and Twitch, 2 remote drones, trying to get some work done in here inside of CZ and trying to afford them access in towards Armory. Lots of shots coming out onto the Brava drone vertical, given his position away at the CC door. Constantly shoulder checking break room door. Another frag grenade comes pouring in, and he will bail immediately out. Will get detected on the retreat, so now Wildcard knows that CC is free for the taking, and the push to 90.
Dear.
Merc will grab Slothy as he attempts to reinforce the fountain wall. Another good start here for Wildcard in the round.
What was he thinking? Reinforcing at, what, 1 minute 40 when you know they're in security? Oh, Slothy. That's a lesson that you're going to have to learn the hard way. And, Kansan, great C4, predicts that somebody's going to be playing that long angle down in toward break room. And we'll get 1 kill back, but Mirage still not in the greatest of positions. And trades come back and forth again. Adam, he's been playing really well this game, Rob. Just appearing with these quick 1 kills, 2 kills to get his team back into the round. And Spiker, not a hope. Wildcards, very dominant in that final round, Rob. And Wildcards, that's them 3-0. The only team who has not lost a single game after 3 matches played here in the NAL.
3 games, 3-0, Wildcard feeling like they've hit the jackpot. There's plenty to go over, and the desk will do that for you right on the other side of this break.